The whole problem with the world is that fools and fanatics are always so certain of themselves, and wiser people so full of doubts. The fundamental cause of the trouble is that in the modern world the stupid are cocksure while the intelligent are full of doubt. The good life is one inspired by love and guided by knowledge. Men are born ignorant, not stupid. They are made stupid by education. I would never die for my beliefs because I might be wrong. 3 passions, simple but overwhelmingly strong, have governed my life: the longing for love, the search for knowledge, and unbearable pity for the suffering of mankind. To be without some of the things you want is an indispensable part of happiness. We are faced with the paradoxical fact that education has become one of the chief obstacles to intelligence and freedom of thought. Science is what you know, philosophy is what you don't know. The fact that an opinion has been widely held is no evidence whatever that it is not utterly absurd. Aristotle could have avoided the mistake of thinking that women have fewer teeth than men, by the simple device of asking Mrs. Aristotle to keep her mouth open while he counted. Most people would sooner die than think, in fact, they do so. In all affairs it's a healthy thing now and then to hang a question mark on the things you have long taken for granted. Fear is the main source of superstition, and one of the main sources of cruelty. To conquer fear is the beginning of wisdom. Collective fear stimulates herd instinct, and tends to produce ferocity toward those who are not regarded as members of the herd. Patriotism is the willingness to kill and be killed for trivial reasons. I think we ought always to entertain our opinions with some measure of doubt. I shouldn't wish people dogmatically to believe any philosophy, not even mine. It is possible that mankind is on the threshold of a golden age, but, if so, it will be necessary first to slay the dragon that guards the door, and this dragon is religion. The infliction of cruelty with a good conscience is a delight to moralists. That is why they invented hell. It is preoccupation with possessions, more than anything else, that prevents us from living freely and nobly. A life without adventure is likely to be unsatisfying, but a life in which adventure is allowed to take whatever form it will is sure to be short. Men who are unhappy, like men who sleep badly, are always proud of the fact. Dogmatism and skepticism are both, in a sense, absolute philosophies. One is certain of knowing, the other of not knowing. What philosophy should dissipate is certainty, whether of knowledge or ignorance. I say quite deliberately that the Christian religion, as organized in its churches, has been and still is the principal enemy of moral progress in the world. The secret of happiness is this: let your interests be as wide as possible, and let your reactions to the things and persons that interest you be as far as possible friendly rather than hostile. One of the symptoms of an approaching nervous breakdown is the belief that one's work is terribly important. A happy life must be to a great extent a quiet life, for it is only in an atmosphere of quiet that true joy dare live. Those who have never known the deep intimacy and the intense companionship of mutual love have missed the best thing that life has to give. Advocates of capitalism are very apt to appeal to the sacred principles of liberty, which are embodied in one maxim: the fortunate must not be restrained in the exercise of tyranny over the unfortunate. Religion is something left over from the infancy of our intelligence. It will fade away as we adopt reason and science as our guidelines. The megalomaniac differs from the narcissist by the fact that he wishes to be powerful rather than charming, and seeks to be feared rather than loved. To this type belong many lunatics and most of the great men of history. It has been said that man is a rational animal. All my life I have been searching for evidence which could support this. Democracy is the process by which people choose the man who'll get the blame. Patriots always talk of dying for their country and never of killing for their country. To teach how to live without certainty and yet without being paralyzed by hesitation is perhaps the chief thing that philosophy, in our age, can do for those who study it. Freedom in general may be defined as the absence of obstacles to the realization of desires. Of all forms of caution, caution in love is perhaps the most fatal to true happiness. Work is of 2 kinds. First, altering the position of matter at or near the Earth's surface relative to other matter. Second, telling other people to do so. So far as I can remember, there is not one word in the Gospels in praise of intelligence. Do not fear to be eccentric in opinion, for every opinion now accepted was once eccentric. I've made an odd discovery. Every time I talk to a savant I feel quite sure that happiness is no longer a possibility. Yet when I talk with my gardener, I'm convinced of the opposite. Those who forget good and evil and seek only to know the facts are more likely to achieve good than those who view the world through the distorting medium of their own desires. Mathematics may be defined as the subject in which we never know what we are talking about, nor whether what we are saying is true. One should respect public opinion insofar as is necessary to avoid starvation and keep out of prison, but anything that goes beyond this is voluntary submission to an unnecessary tyranny.